we are live. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone. Welcome to the Nursing Cultural Salon podcast. I'm your host, I'm Dina Paoloni. I'm an international career coach, Italian based in UK. And today I've been joined by the amazing Angie Gray, which is a very experienced nurse who helped retention in the USA. And today we're going to talk about so many things that we are very, very much in line. We have for the conversation that we got together, that from the post that we share, we are very in line with so many topics. So I'm so glad, Angie, that you are here today with me. Just some quick check while you please introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tell
Hi.
us about who you are, especially from people maybe from my audience who are especially internationally educated nurses.
Yeah.
So tell about yourself, who you are, where you're tuning from, and I
Okay.
will check everything around. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Wow. What an honor. And it's super cool to be, first of all, you know how much I adore you and everything that you do. And yes, we are aligned and you lead the way. I mean, you lead the way for our profession and advocating for and speaking to who we are and who we can be all over the world. And it's an incredible honor to be on this podcast with you. So thank you. And everyone, wow, that everybody's listening all across the world. To have you be united through this is super cool. So hi, everyone. I'm Angie Gray. I am from Iowa, smack dab in the middle of the United States. First, I just want to tell you that I'm a mom and I'm a wife. My husband and I have been married for 35 years. We have 7 children. We have 8 grandchildren and counting. So that's fun. Professionally, I have a nursing background, and I have not practiced for several years, but I've been in health wellness in primarily in the senior living space for the last 14 years. And I am presently very honored to be working as a nurse leadership coach and advocate, and I'm a keynote speaker, and I talk all about relationships and culture as the best strategy we have for the future of nursing and healthcare. That's a little bit.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here, and I follow you so much. I'm so inspired too, and I mean, my heart is full of love because I know how much we are relating in this topic. Because I do retention for international educated nurses here in UK, and I work. I'm in a project with the NHS Clinic Entrepreneur Program to try to retain international educated nurses in the UK. Because here, I mean, the percentage is very high across the world, country by country. International educated nurses really make a good portion of the register. In UK, we are about 1/3, nearly 1/3. So, but unfortunately, for the political and the healthcare system problem that we are experiencing lately, unfortunately, so many international educated nurses come, stay a little bit, and they move abroad again, try to find the best place for them. So I'm working with the NHS Clinic Entrepreneur Program independently, as well as a career coach, to try to retain nurses. So this topic today is so important for me. I've got you in my heart. I've prepared a few questions for you, Angie, but I would like you to say what you would like this episode will be about. Which topic do you think we're gonna talk about?
Now, be careful, Dina. Be careful, because you may have opened up Pandora's box, because I'm already thinking of all these questions I want to ask you. So so I'm a question asker. I'm very curious. And so I have all these questions for you, but all right. So what do I want to talk about? Well, I guess that maybe we talk about the kind of the question that came up for me when you were just saying those things. If you're having a hard time retaining international nurses, I heard that correctly, yeah? So my question would be, outside of political reasons and stuff, why? I have a guess of why. And I think that could be something fun to talk about, because if I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. If I'm right, there is a that connects us all in this thing. So could you answer that first for me? And then I think I'll be able to just play off of that, I think.
Okay. Well, the reason are many, but fundamentally is the problem is very linked to relationships of what you're doing, because again, we share so much
Mhm.
um, thought, and we align so many things. So it's relationship, but uh, relationships. The problem is not necessarily racism, which unfortunately is increasing lately in UK, but I would say recognition and validation.
Mm.
So we really need international educated nurses because the native and the house workforce is not enough. So we UK is NHS is so good to recruit from abroad. So they recruit a cheap labor. They keep them on the best space or in the same role, even if that's not something is very like with the career intention of the nurse or maybe the specialty of the nurse. So they recruit very well, cheap labor for abroad. They put where they want to be, and then they fix them in that place for at least 3 years,
Mm.
because these international educated nurses are linked to a contract, because while they're recruiting from abroad, they pay everything up front. So the nurse is
Oh,
taken and put in a certain place, regardless of the career ambition, regardless of past years' experience, regardless of their specialty. I need 100 nurse in med surg. I take 100 nurses from abroad. If they are specialized in A&E, if they are specialized in senior care, if they specialize in ICU or, whatever,
yeah.
they don't care. They put in there what they need. And
Yeah.
then they link them to that role for 3 years.
Okay.
Plus, there are all different problem relationship related to racism or career ladder, all those sorts of things. So nurses feel really, international educated nurses feel really undervalued. And, they, this is really corrode their souls, because they feel, why I'm here?
Yeah.
If I felt better at home if I had a lower salary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yes, relationship is very important, but here in UK especially, the problem is there's no
Feeling
the
valued.
recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you for that. And I appreciate that so much, because sometimes we can feel very lonely, whether you're in the UK or you're here, or wherever you're at in the world. And more, I realize through different conversations where, we know this, and we say we're all human beings. We all have fundamentally the same needs, the same desires, all of those things. And it's so good to have these conversations to remind us that that's the truth, because you're talking about UK nurses, and I hear the specific situation, and be a very specific, and can be a very unfortunate situation for some nurses, right? Because they're feeling undervalued, they're feeling not seen, all of those things. It's the same here. No matter what the situation, I think we do not do a good job internationally valuing our nursing profession, and what we do, validating them, feeling appreciated. So I feel, though, also, and let me know what you think. The way I approach my work, the things I talk about, which is primarily, I talk about overarching, it's relationships, right?
Mhm.
Relationships are everything, and everything is relationship. And then we talk about what that looks like. How's that applied in the workplace? How's that applied in culture? Why is that your greatest strategy? But what I find is that the more we talk about it, the more connected we feel, the more united we feel. And in that space of relationships, the one that's the most important is the relationship that we have with us. I mean, it with ourselves. So, I appreciate you sharing that. And so, if you're in the UK and you're experiencing, I don't feel appreciated, I don't feel valued, I want to validate that for you and let you know that you're not alone and that you're also
Yeah.
not a victim and that we are not victims,
Yeah, exactly.
right? No matter where we're at, that is, I think in particular, not only, but since we're women and since what is it, 98% of that
Yeah.
quote me, do not quote me because that's not, I don't even know that for sure, but I know a large percentage of us are women. So I'm speaking to the men as well. But in particular, women, we're already, we're in an underserved, undervalued, um, as women, and then we're in, historically in an underserved, undervalued profession, and lately the things that have been happening just have reinforced that. So I want to validate the feelings that we have internationally. So going back to our relationship we have with ourselves, I have found just from my own experience that the more that I work on the relationship with myself, who I am, my own worth, my own value, remembering why I am a nurse, remembering why I do the work that I do, remembering that this is my choice, that this is my choice. And sometimes I get pushback, right? Which I'm sure you do. You're an amazing coach, right? When you're like, yeah,
Thank you.
this is a choice. And sometimes we get pushback as to, no, it's not a choice. And so you go, well, the choice might not be great between great things. It might be between two not very great things, but it's still a choice. And so do you choose to be here? And if so, then how do we make that fulfilling for you? What are the steps we can take to support you? What are the things that hold you up from experiencing the most joy? And what can you do about it? What steps can you take to be part of the solve? Anyway, I think that that's always the core, it,
Absolutely, I agree.
yeah,
And
self-awareness.
just I want to back, and not because of the book, but there is a reason why I called my book The Awakened Nurse, because I believe that if you are not in, well, you never be 100% in control of yourself. But if you don't put your effort to understand who you are, what are your capability, your capacity, your agency, your weakness, or things that you might need to learn or improve in yourself and your career, you will never be able to create a relationship with others and then create a successful career. Or if you don't want to go up in the career ladder, simply create a workplace that is very lovely to work
Yes,
in. Yeah.
yes. And that can feel lonely. So what are the other things? I just talked about this with someone yesterday. So what are the things, what did she ask me? She's like, what would be your advice be for nurses or something like that? And I never have any advice. I don't have advice. I just have, hey, this is my experience and this is what has worked for me. And this is what I see as a common thing that nursing in particular does, especially not especially, but since I work with leadership, I see it a lot. We do not ask for help. It
Yeah.
is very difficult. Maybe that's just a human thing. It is hard for us to ask for help, but I think especially nurses, I see it all the time. We don't want to ask for help. Um, but we can ask for help. And I believe that the universe, God, is always putting people in our path to serve us and to be part of that journey that can help. If we reach out and we ask for the help, it will come. We ask for the help, it will come. Um, so we are very in alignment with that, understanding that we're not victims in this space and what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
We are great beyond our wildest dreams, and yeah, we need to just remind each other of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, you see, I do the Hierarchy Betray podcast with Kimberly Maurer, and we talk about how the system, it
System.
doesn't really help us.
Mm-hmm.
And but what we also say always is, don't be a victim, don't become a victim. Okay, don't take the victimist mentality, because yes, maybe the system doesn't facilitate it doesn't do that, but the system hasn't been built against us necessarily. The system that just grow up following the power of the moment, could be a more political part, or more you know, pharmaceutical or business side, IT side, that push something behind. So the system is built to serve the power of the moment, and
Mhm.
the history teach us in this, because history maybe don't repeat itself but rhyme itself. So where is power, the want to power want to have money, and who has money want to have a power. So
Yeah.
for sure we never been the force in power. We can become though, but so the system for us is not great intentionally against nurses. It's true that doesn't facilitate the nurses, but if we continue to have this victim mentality, we will never be able to
Yeah.
change the system.
Yes. So well said. And I love Kimberly Maurer. I love her. I love her work. Yeah, I think one time a pastor a long time ago said to me that I remembered and I shared with my children and, whoever I can, is he who gets the vision gets the job.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it's like, okay, so
Okay.
I'm feeling this in this culture wherever I'm at, and I don't like it, and it's yucky, or I feel this, or whatever, whatever, whatever. And then if we can learn to go, oh, that's your sign. That's your sign to go, oh, what can I do? Because I will get back tenfold what I give. So if I can show up and I can be that catalyst, I
Yeah.
love that you're talking about systems. I mean, and I love how the viewpoint, the lens that you're seeing that through. A long time ago, I started talking about through some great mentorship from a coach that I had, about how healthcare is a bureaucracy. It was not set up to be malicious and think
Yeah.
about, we're going to go after nurses, or we're going to have to go after the whoever. It is a bureaucracy. But at that time when I started talking about this, the prediction was that the bureaucracy of healthcare would only last another 10 years. And that was maybe 5, 6 years ago. And it's
Hmm.
really interesting to see what is happening politically, that is charging sort of the other side of it, right? And this new generation of not just nurses, this new generation of human beings that are like, hey, we don't see it this way. We would like things to be a little bit different, right? To bring balance back. And so I just think this is an extraordinary time if we can change our mindset.
Yeah.
Another thing you and I talk about, I talk a lot about thinking differently, the power we have to think differently. I always talk about how I really truly believe that it is God's greatest gift to us as human beings is we have a choice to how we think about something. How we think is cause, everything else is effect. But it's worth saying again, how we think is cause, everything else is effect. So just to your point, like, how do you choose to show up in the world, and whatever you're going to think about and how you choose to show up is what you will receive. It'll be what happens. Yeah.
And absolutely. And also, you make me thinking that, you know, the Troy horse,
Yes.
we are the majority of the healthcare professional inside the system. So we really have this power. We are inside. And history teach us that if you want to change the system, you must change it from inside.
Yes, ma'am.
That you will be more effective, because if you try to make a fight or make a war between you and the system, you're gonna lose, because
Yep.
the system is always the most powerful. So if you are able to enter the system and change the narrative inside the system, you then able to, like the Troyers, you enter to the city inside this horse that's supposed to be a present, and then when the right moment happen, because you get ready inside, you are able to conquer the city. So I believe that because we are the biggest healthcare professional
Yes.
workforce
Yep.
inside the system, is if we are able to prepare ourselves um, to really get to that direction, we are able to change the system.
Yeah.
But as you say, it's a work that must be done from within. And
Yes.
so we must first change the mentality ourselves,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
still hard in a moment where we are numbed, we are overworked, we are exhausted and we just wanted to end the shift because we really need the money at the end
Yeah. Yeah.
of the month.
Yes, yes. And thank you for bringing that up. First of all, I love the Trojan horse analogy. And I think another thing about that you made me think about is all the people inside that horse were like-minded. And they were
Yeah,
like, I can make a difference. We're in this together. We're going to make a difference. I mean, there's a lot of things you could spin off of that. Um, yeah, I think it is really important to talk about and validate again that our nursing force is experience overwhelm, burnout, all the things. And it can become really easy to become a victim at the same time needing to be validated that I am feeling these things. I am
yeah,
experiencing these things. I am inside a system, whatever. So it is important. Your podcast is incredibly important to be doing for us to say, we see you, we love you, we have been there, we are there sometimes
we're there. Yeah,
as a person, not maybe inside, a building at this time, but my life gets that way too. And so what can we empower? And Kimberly's great at talking about this. You are. What are you doing from a day-to-day basis? Like if we peel this onion back, okay, validating we're in this space, we're experiencing all these things, and we're also not a victim. So what is the choice that we have? Wherever you go, it doesn't matter if you're in nursing or if you're, my husband's job, which is we have a flooring business, and it's very, very hard. He works with people. We all do. That's the hardest part, y'all. We're going to work with people likely.
exactly,
So you peel that onion back and you're like, what are you left with? You're left with me. I take me wherever I go. You know,
exactly.
have to learn some skills that are going to support and love and validate my worth and value, and no matter where in the world I am. So what does that look like? And I'd love to ask you, Dina, my non-negotiable practice that I share, and I, can't make my clients do, but we work really hard on setting up a system for myself. What are
Yeah,
my core principles that set me up for success? So mine is every morning before coffee, before I kiss my husband in the morning and I say, okay, see ya. And I go and I sit in my chair and I meditate, and then I pray, and then I have a thing I read, and that's it. And then I go on with my day. But that for me is a very intentional. I want to be intentional about my day. I pray for people. I pray for myself. My prayer, I just posted about this today, and whatever that looks like for people. But my prayer is, show me where to go, show me what to do, show me who to talk to and what to say, and teach me to see. And when I say teach me to see, that really means everything we've been talking about. Teach me to see and to seek to understand, really, before needing to be understood. And that can be seeking to understand me first, before I point a finger as the person in this really challenging work situation. When I start feeling that, what look at, hey, Angie, how have you eaten today? Have you hydrated? Are you prioritizing sleep? Okay, this relationship is struggling. This person is really rubbing me wrong. What lens am I seeing her through? Do I need to be better at boundaries? It's like learning to put the finger back, or the lens to myself first. But all of that begins with, like you've been saying all the time, Kimberly, so many people that we adore, being intentional on how you start your day, I think, is the number one thing that will set you up for success. Prioritizing your mindset, your own development, and your own self-care and those practices.
absolutely agree. And I do my wake up routine. Actually, it's not necessarily the morning routine, because this started when I was still doing the ICU work, so night shift,
Oh,
weekend shift, etc.
yeah.
So yes, first of all, I am very intentional with pray. So even before I open eyes, I still with my clothes,
Mhm.
and I really be grateful.
Yeah.
But grateful for me is also, I understand that maybe not everyone is religious, or not everyone have a relationship with God, more than religious, I mean relationship with God. But acknowledge the positive things in life, even if
Yes.
you're not necessarily happy about that, because you may have a warm, cozy home that protects you from the weather, that give you hot water, that allow you to be healthy. Maybe you would like to have another bigger house, or
Mhm.
expand uh, your capacity, but you have to acknowledge that you have a warm and cozy
Mm.
house that
Yeah.
protects you from the weather. So you don't have to be necessarily happy about it. I'm grateful. Okay, so I'm happy for what I have. Even
Mhm.
if I would like something more or something different, but I'm happy for what I have.
Yeah.
So you may don't want to be happy, but if you are grateful in a way that you recognize and you acknowledge the positive things that you have, this is a good starting point, because you realize that there are people that don't have what you got. And so then you can build from that, because there are people that have to build, or they want to build from a lower
Mm.
starting point.
Yeah.
So when you understand this concept, everything become more easy in a way that is more assuring,
Mhm.
right? So I'm grateful in the morning, and I teach this to my client as well. I really love affirmation, but not the affirmation that you find on YouTube or wherever,
Huh.
right? I teach my client to create their own affirmation. How?
Mhm.
If anytime they have a negative thought, they use the exercise I give to them is I'm enough, I'm not enough. And from them they can create the positive affirmation. Basically recognize strength and weakness and building from them.
Mhm.
And yes, but everything is really acknowledge themselves, understand who you are and where you want to go. But also another thing that I found very useful to the day, the week, the month, the year. I pace myself, because
Mhm.
being a mother of three, four-stage endometriosis, chronic pain, I couldn't do anything if I wouldn't plan on pacing myself. So
Mhm.
pace yourself in a way that you do what you can do in a certain time. Don't overwhelm, overstress, because the world is already so overwhelming. So
Mhm.
don't put strength on you by yourself,
Yeah.
but
Women are
really,
good for each other. Women are so good for each other. I mean, have you ever, thank you for sharing that. First of all, gratitude.
yes.
Have you ever read, we're going to do a little book recommendation right now, but this is
Okay.
a cool experience with you. And yesterday I got to do a podcast also. I got to be honored to do two in a row. I did one with Teresa Sanderson. Do you know Teresa Sanderson? Women, nurses feed their young. It was a great conversation. Um, the book that I'm thinking of right now, as we are talking and sharing kind of best practices and our love for one another and the nurses that we get to serve, and the book is called The Red Tent. Highly recommend it, ladies. And no, it's more for ladies. I'm just going to say,
Yes,
um,
okay.
but
Thank you.
it is so good. I don't even know the author, but I got back into reading with this book years ago, probably 30 years ago now. And it is about the relationships of women, and it's based in biblical times. So I highly recommend that book. Let me know if you read it. Okay, Dina. The other,
Anita, I'm telling you, the red tent. Anita Diamond,
yeah,
that reimagine the life of Dinah from the book of Genesis.
that's right.
That
What
me.
in the world is happening right now? Oh my God, I totally did not remember that. What in the
That's
heck?
good. Thank you. I will definitely read it.
Meant to be. Our audience now needs to totally
Absolutely.
go and read this. Okay, did y'all hear that? Say that again.
Yes, Anita Diamond. Let me read
Is the
again.
author.
Yeah, Anita Diamond. Sorry.
Yes.
is the author that reimagines the life of Dinah from the book of Genesis.
Oh
The
my
red
gosh.
tent.
So the main character, yes,
Oh,
is who you are, is your name. Anywho, I hope you all read that as we're talking about, and we're all supporting one another in our amazing profession in the many ways. The other thing I wanted to thank you for is talking about gratitude and kind of going back to what we were talking about, like um I guess being to change, being conscious of our mindset, the thoughts that we're entertaining, the story that we're telling ourselves throughout the day, being learning because it's a practice, it's a skill, and it takes a lot of practice to catch the thoughts that are coming our way that maybe used to serve us that don't serve us anymore. If it's not feeling good, those aren't serving us anymore, and it's we get that we have the power to change that oh my gosh, trajectory. But when we're talking about gratitude, I love it so much. And if we are going back to the very thing you shared with us, sort of the overarching feeling of international nursing, like you're talking about, of feeling unappreciated, not validated, just really, and probably not feeling great about feeling needy, right? Nobody feels
yeah.
great about feeling needy, but we start to get resentful when we're like, we're doing all this and nobody notices what we do. And we could talk about that and the truth of that for a long time. I wonder what would happen is if we chose to take our greatest power, I say it's our superpower and our the way we think, and we just started practicing shifting that a little bit. And what that would look like is if I'm feeling unappreciated at work, today I'm going to go to work and every person I encounter, as many as I can, I'm just going to notice something that I appreciate about them. Let's just say it's the janitor, and the janitor comes in and is emptying garbages, and you say, "Hey, thank you so much for
Yeah.
doing that. This is not an easy job. I appreciate you. This makes me feel verklempt." Makes me feel emotional because everyone feels good when you see them and when you appreciate them, and they're all working their ass off. And that is an international word because y'all know what I mean when we're working so hard. But what if we did that? When you do that, you get back, like you start to
Exactly.
yes, the energy, the energetic fuel inside you. And so I wonder if we all did that experiment. Today, I'm
Oh
going to go,
my God.
and wouldn't that be cool? And we have so much power through our own generosity to fill our own cup, instead of wishing someone else would come and fill it. We have
And
all this inside.
And I laugh so much, not because what you say is something funny, but because I do the same things for myself, for the
Yes.
people I do conversation coaches. Because I say you always receive what you putting down. So what you give away, you receive, you get it back. And especially I bring this example all the time. More than a couple of nurses in the place I work, especially in UK, they work with me say you smile all the time. How do you? Why you smile all the time? And I always reply because I see when I smile to you, you smile me back. So I
Yeah.
need smile during the day to smile to people, so people smile back to me.
Yeah.
The things that I've found funny or interesting, more than funny, is that when you are kind, sharing kindness, support, and smile, a simple act of kindness, uh, or also you um, exchange um, harsh behavior with kindness, people underestimate you.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah.
I felt and find myself underestimated so many times just because I was kind, because I didn't want to interact in negative talk,
Mm,
and just because I replied back with kindness,
mm,
right? And people underestimate me. And the one day actually I came out with maybe a good idea or a new project or something like that, they felt uncomfortable because at first they didn't understand me. They thought I was no value, but then when I came up with a good project, good outcome, etc., they actually came back, asked me how I was doing. So smile is really contagious, and kindness as well is very contagious. But you have to understand that you won't receive kindness or smile straight away. You must make them work first.
Mm.
Because when you demonstrate that your acts of kindness really work to other,
Yes.
and everyone want to engage with it, because everyone want to receive a smile, a kind action. They want to feel validated. They want to feel listened.
Yeah.
So if you respond with a shout to a shout, you just escalate. You must de-escalate.
Yeah.
So what you say is so, I'm so in line as my so much because we
Yeah.
basically do the same thing.
We're the same person. Yeah, but I can't, but I feel like I need to be reminded of that too. Like, I love that you're talking about this, doesn't, I think you said that, or maybe I thought it, I don't know. But just that this all takes practice. Like, I get mad at people. People hurt my feelings. We all are humans,
Yeah,
and
me
to
too.
normalize, yeah. And to normalize, that's gonna happen. It's not, we're never gonna be in harmony all the time. So it takes,
Exactly.
there's two stories that are coming up in my mind that are, I don't know why these things happen to me. I just get a download, but hopefully this will mean something. So there's two things that when I was in high school, I hated high school. I really, really, really did. What do you guys call high school?
In Italian or in UK, in English. I mean, secondary school.
Yeah,
I
okay,
think.
secondary
Yeah,
school,
yeah,
is
secondary school.
just like
Yeah,
secondary school. Okay. Before you go to university or whatever.
yeah, secondary school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I did not enjoy it at all. I was, this little blonde girl that had a football boyfriend, and I was nice. To your point about being this nice person, I was nice, and I had like friends from all the different cliques or groups.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily have a group of my own friends. I felt pretty lonely in high school,
Okay.
actually. But I was friends with a lot of people, and what I thought was interesting to me, the group of people that were kind of the hard people, the people that were smoking cigarettes and drinking and stuff, like the kids that parents would say don't hang out with them. Those kids that everybody was kind of afraid of, they liked me. And I think that that was really weird, right? Not weird, but I always wondered, I wonder why they like me, you know? And I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is that I was nice. I smiled at them and they thought of me as a friend. And they were, I don't know why I was able to do that, but they didn't scare me. And that was really cool. Okay, so whatever that means to anybody. But then the other story is when we were about ready to graduate from secondary school, we had sort of this retreat. And I mentioned that I wasn't really in a group, like a specific group, but I was popular in high school relatively. Like, I wasn't like whatever, but because I was like, just everybody's friend. But I picked up this girl every day from school for quite a long time. She was my age, and I picked her up from school, and her name is Maureen. And she wasn't like in the popular group at all. She was maybe less popular than me. Okay, whatever. But I picked her up every day, and I would have said we were friends. We didn't hang out or anything. But at this retreat at the end of secondary school, people were allowed to come up to this microphone and share something meaningful to them. And I will never forget, to your point of a smile, Maureen got up and she said, I want to thank my maiden name. I want to thank Angie Duggan because she was so kind to me all throughout high school. And whenever I saw her in the hallway, she would smile at me. That's it. Like, this makes me want to cry 40 years after I've,
Absolutely.
because we do not know, to your point, we do not know the power we have within, the love that we share through just a smile, like what that can do for someone. So bringing it full circle back to the international humanity that we all share, and that we all want to feel appreciated and valued. And yes, I am validating that nursing is a profession that is historically undervalued and underappreciated. Ladies, you are not alone. You are appreciated. And let us start to love one another and pay that forward, what we want. Give a smile, give a hug, tell somebody no to someone this week in the good work that they're doing. Let's just do this experiment together. And what we can become the group in the Trojan horse. We can, but it does start with us. It starts with us. Yeah, those stories just came to me.
And I think they fit perfectly. We got Peter that said, the little things done out of genuineness is never forgotten. And I also said that if you are, we can't be kind 100% all the time,
Right.
right? I use right said. But if we are kind almost all the time, where we have our bad day and we just, shut out and you don't, you don't want fucking care about anything, you
Yeah.
be an excuse. You know that asshole. Sorry for the bad word at this point. But I mean, if you're always kind, you are the kind person. So people can excuse you if you one day you are an asshole. If you are an asshole every day,
Yeah.
you are the asshole. You no excuse at all.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think kindness repay all the time.
Dina, this is coming to me now. I also know. So someone in some of my work, I don't know how much time we have, but in a lot of my clients, so I work with nurse leaders. A lot of my clients, when they're coming to me through an organization, a lot of times they will come to me clinically excellent,
Yes.
but they're not yet leaders. But they're in a leadership position, but they are not yet leaders, clinically strong, not yet leaders, because they haven't been taught the skills that they need to have to lead effectively. Not, we have done an injustice internationally. We have done an injustice, right? And so here we are now trying to make up for it because of we know that we don't have enough nurses and nurses aren't staying, all that stuff. So now we're making up for that. What, someone, and I believe it was James Lee, if he's hearing this, at least I heard him repeat it if it wasn't his own thing, and I use this with my clients. So my clients come to me very strong, and a lot of times I have heard nurses have this reputation for not being very nice. This actually came up not very long ago, and I was in a consulting meeting, and this C-suite person said, well, nurses are just kind of known for being that way. And she didn't mean it in a nice way. And I thought, oh, what a shame. What do you mean? So that's our reputation, is that we know what we're doing, I guess, but we're not very nice. All right. I don't think that's true for everyone, but under the circumstances, that certainly happens. Many of us start not liking who we are and how we're showing up because of all this stuff, and we need to learn a new way.
Yeah. Okay.
So what my friend James said is, when we have strengths, as we all have our own strengths, when those strengths are overdone, when those strengths are used properly, they bring people in. But when they're overdone, they distance us from people. So when I use that within nursing, and a lot of my clients, they come in, they are direct. They know what they need to get done. They know how to delegate. They can, let's do it. They know how to do that. And when that is overdone, that looks like, oh, people think you're a bitch. People are afraid of you. They don't trust you. They're not going to tell you all the things they know. And then things start to fall apart, and it starts to end up with bad outcomes, patient outcomes and otherwise. The other side of that is, let's say I'm really kind. I'm kind. And I'm very sweet and all these things, but that strength made into overdone, can then people don't think you're good at your work. You don't speak up. You kind of said that earlier. People think you because you were kind, they underestimated you.
Yeah.
So we have to find that middle ground. And I think you and I know through our work, how that happens is for us to become confident in who we are and learn the skills we need to lead, because we're leading no matter where we're at. We're either leading a family, we're leading a patient to trust us so that we can provide the best care. We're leading a team that is our job to create a pathway for their growth. And if we aren't trusted and don't have those skills, that ain't going to happen. All the things. Trying to develop a culture. If we don't have those skills, that's not going to happen. So, I think developing the strengths we have in a way that they bring people in is all about communication, emotional intelligence, the skills we're not taught. So I love the work that you do. I love the work that I get to do, and so many of us get to do. That's why we're here. We're here to fill that gap.
Absolutely. And I also think another third thing's very much related. So people are in leadership, unfortunately, they don't at the moment don't have the leadership skills or
Right.
capacity or agency, because the healthcare system moved so much in hierarchy in the past 3 decades. So in education as well, training. So at the moment we have in leadership nurses who have get a master degree, a PhD, hold this training in title that make the, and we say this in the hierarchy portrayal with Kimberly so many times. They have so many training a specialty, right? A letter behind their name, which we know against. We are proud of it. We applaud this. I'm doing my master as well. Again,
Yeah.
the problem is this training, especially PhD masters, they help you to get specialized clinically, but they don't really get you the skill to lead. So in order to be a leaders, you must to understand leadership uh, behavior, followers, relationship, team dynamics. So then at least get uh, become interested in those things, start to reading about those things. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to do a program. I've done 2 program in leadership. This master is about leadership, organizational development, and so on. But in order to lead, you must to gain those emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence, communication, um, behavior understanding, team dynamic skill that you don't acquire with your master degree in, I don't know,
Yeah.
heart disease or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you become a leader because you have this master's or PhD, this doesn't necessarily mean that you are a good leader.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the
And
system doesn't back that up either. All right. The
yeah,
system says, oh, you've got these letters behind your name.
so
Oh,
you okay.
so you come on, let's go, let's lead. And then when they don't meet those expectations, it's like, oh, now what are we going to do with you? You're going to have disciplinary action. We're going to have to,
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah, it's backwards. And there is a shift, I think, happening. I think there is a shift happening. What were you
People
going to
start to realize. But another thing, sorry if I interrupt you, but another thing that also I notice, and being in the clinic entrepreneur program, really talking with the best clinic entrepreneur in UK. I unfortunately understand that nurses. I mean, what they say is hard to make a deal with nurses because nurses never agree each other. This is so hard to listen and it's heartbreaking, but unfortunately, yes, we really
guys,
sometime each other.
yeah, we can't do that anymore. This is important to talk about. I wish we had a lot of nurses piping in right now and saying some things, because I do think, gosh, it's just the whole system, back to the system, and then we'll go right back to we can't blame the system. We can't.
Exactly.
It's not going to go anywhere. But the system has set us up for we need to keep doing, add more letters, if we want to be appreciated, if we want to be seen, if we want to be validated. But guess what? You can keep doing all that shit and it is great. Good for you. You are a freaking rock star and we need you to do that. And if you don't, I'm working with a whole team of these women right now. If you don't elevate the other side of the skills, this shit won't matter, because nobody
Exactly.
trusts you anyway. Nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to follow your leadership. Your patients aren't going to trust you. If your patients don't trust you, then you don't have the full picture of your patient. I mean, like, it's just so the ripple effect of all of it. So the point is, we get as nurses that are incredibly intelligent and clinically excellent, all these things, we go, well, look at all these things I've done and that I do, and I'm still not appreciated. Okay, I'm not saying that this is always the case, but unfortunately, in my work, in your work, what we see, what we hear, feedback that we hear is, if we want to remain the number one trusted profession for the last 20 years, like ladies and gentlemen, but if we want to keep that, then we have to earn that. That's it. And I know y'all have been through a ton and you're heroes every single day. But this is an opportunity. Like this is nothing but an opportunity for us to grow as individual humans and in our profession and to serve our people at the highest possible level, but to literally change what nursing looks like. And we're here for a reason. Like I firmly believe that our time in this planet right now, you and I, all of us came to this planet for a reason, and we do the most with it or we do not. We
Exactly.
we are part of the solve or we are victims and you're just perpetuating the problem. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes
No.
that. My son, okay, one more story. My son, our oldest son, used to come to when he was little, he was just like this born leader, okay? And people were drawn to him and he just kind of had these skills that were easier for him. And so people were drawn to him. And he used to say, I don't want to be the leader. I don't want people to, he really, really didn't want to. And he's like, I don't want to, people are always blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that makes the best leaders, honey. And you don't have to do this. Nobody's making you do this. And yet you find yourself in a leadership position all the time. So interesting, right? You say you don't like it, but yet, if you have a choice, you're going to step into that, right? Because it's who you are. And it's just so interesting that it's not easy to be a leader. Nobody wants to hear that you have a choice. But we do. We have this choice, and either if it's you, then step into it. Be part of. Be the. What did I say? The quote of my pastor: "He who gets the vision, gets the job." Well, as soon as we stop resisting the calling
Yeah.
to a higher place in just our humanity, the easier life will become. As far as joy, the more joy we experience and success in that way.
Absolutely. And to go back on what you do, it because you really help relationship and trust. I think that, and back to what we were talking about, of kind of listen to yourself. You must trust yourself first, and then trust others, because otherwise people will never trust you. So the first shift is this awakening to understand who you are, what you want, and trust yourself, or trust God at least, that
Yeah.
decides to put you in some way,
Yeah.
somewhere, and then trust others, because otherwise no one will trust you.
Yeah.
So must letting go a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
I didn't ask any of the questions I want to because
That's okay. This is great. I love these kind of conversations. Just like, whatever we're meant to talk about, it just comes out. So I love learning from you.
absolutely, and I love learning from you. Have this kind of conversation that. But I would like to, because it's already nearly 1 hour we chatting. I would like to ask you, tell about more what you do to create a relationship and trust among them.
Yeah.
Because we both of us know that team dynamics are the foundation for a very good or a very bad team. So how you do create trust among nurses in the team, and
Yeah.
how teach them this leader to become trustworthy.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I mean, I'm very fortunate to do what I do. I think for any of you that don't know me, part of my story is I have a nursing background. I left nursing practice because of a very toxic culture and very poor leadership. That being said, I see that much differently now. I see that whole experience through a different lens now, but at the time it was very much for survival. And then, I stayed home for 18 years with our kids. I homeschooled them, continued my education during that time, partnered with a wellness company to learn a lot of leadership skills, prevention education things. So I did that for those 18 years. And then really, as my youngest kids got a little older, felt called to started teaching prevention education, primarily about mental health and leadership. And then this company that I was partnered with took notice. They started having me speak on stages across the country, an opportunity I never would have thought of for myself, honestly. But that was amazing. And they were partners. This company was partnered with the Dr. Oz show. And I know this is international. So, and he is international. So many people probably do know him, but it's a health and wellness show that was very popular here in the States and across the world, really, Dr. Oz. So I got to co-host with him twice for two shows called The Future of Nursing. And it was in that show or during that experience where I was hearing from these nursing students why they thought they were the future of nursing that I really recognized the gap and the disservice we were doing to our nursing students and to our seasoned, working nurses who didn't have these skills that we're talking about and felt so lonely and so burned out. And if you ask them, what's the most difficult part of your work? Yes, ask everybody, what do you think they say? It's not the IV that I just gave, it's people. And so I really felt then the call to switch from Angie Gray Wellness to creating high performance nursing. And that was 14 years ago. And so what I get to do now is I created a coaching program. So I believe working through organizations is usually, I think, can make a bigger impact because I start working with a nurse leader. And then the natural next step is to work with the entire team. And then the idea is to permeate the whole entire organization. And then I have a coaching membership for nurses. And so all of those different kind of tiers or offerings work together to be able to get everybody on the same page, everybody moving in the same direction, everyone having the opportunity to learn these skills so that they can communicate effectively. And they're all growing at the same time. So I love that I get to do coaching, and that is for individuals and teams through organizations or individuals. I love that I get to continue to speak on stages across the country, advocating for the need for our nurses and how we can support them. Overarching is always about relationships, culture, the strategy of that. And my hashtag is love better, lead better. And I just think all the things that we're talking about today they're all love. And I'm not afraid to talk about that because that's the only place we connect. Everyone knows what love is. Everyone knows that the things we're talking about are loving better, loving one another, loving ourselves better, and that helps us to lead better. So I talk about that, and I really love what I get to do. I love it. I really feel very blessed to do what I do.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I have the same feeling because, especially when you see the work you do, the outcome of the work you do is really happiness of and fulfillment of another person. I
Mhm.
think that is the most rewarding thing.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
agreed.
I don't know how much time you have left. May I ask you a last question?
Yeah, yeah.
So, when nurses come to you, and they come from a place of need because they have to understand what is going on, how to approach them. So better ask, how do you, what are the warning sign that something is wrong, even if the person, the nurse, the leader thinks that what they are doing they are good. So where you captured this, or what are the warning signs that something must be changed?
Uh, it goes back to what we've been saying. If you are feeling disengaged, if you
Mm.
are feeling like you're just going in and getting out as fast as you can, that's a huge warning sign that if you're not already burned out and just hanging in there by a thread, you're on your way. If you notice the thoughts that you're thinking. And this is what's sad, right? Is that this happens so fast. So
Yeah,
fast
so
when
many.
nurses enter, when they come in with all these things and then so quickly they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Um, that's it. It's just to pay attention to your thoughts. How are you, what's the lens you're seeing your work through? What's the lens you're seeing the people that you work with through? Are you seeing them through a lens of appreciation and gratitude, or is it everyone else's fault how you're feeling? Yeah, go
So
ahead.
also the, you were saying at the beginning overdoing as well.
Overdoing. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's I think just uh, right away a sign. But that goes, then the result of that overdoing is I'm blaming everybody. They don't do it right. I knew I was going to have to do this. I'm not even going to ask them to do it because whatever, whatever, whatever. I mean, that all that overdoing is that leads to resentment. It leads to burnout. So yeah,
Okay.
like all, that's something that we learn though. I mean, it's such a deeper thing, right? When we think we have to do everything for everyone, and nurses in particular, we know
Mm,
that a lot of us come from some sort of trauma. That could be big T, little t, uh, an example of living in a way that we need to manage energies in a room. We need to take care of people for our own value, like all that stuff. And it's not a one and done thing, but these are things that you can start as you start to grow, or experience resentment, any of the things, actually anything that doesn't feel good and that is staying and hanging out, hanging around. It's not just a one off, like we're all going to have days that don't feel so good. But if it's something that a presence that you're living in, this negative, heavy feeling every day, you're designed to experience better than that. So that's, I guess, like the warning sign is if you're blaming people and you're a victim, then let's talk about it.
okay.
Let's figure.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
Understand. So very interesting. So the overdue come from a place of trauma that you try to accommodate everyone. So you do the best you can do, the most you can do. And because you do so much, you expect the other people give the same energy, but they don't do.
Yep.
So you feel victim.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
It-
Understand. Thank you very much.
it's just a
Absolutely.
cycle. It's a hamster wheel we can get on, and yeah, it's that willingness to think differently. When you are feeling that, do I want it? This is not moving me towards joy. Whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm experiencing is not moving me towards joy. It's moving me towards pain. So what it's up to me. No one can change the way you think. No one can change your mindset but you. It'll
Absolutely.
always come back to that. There's no other way around it. It's you go through it or you run from it, and if we run from it, we're gonna stay in it. If you stay, just the resistance keeps us. The resistance to change. What's the saying? When the resistance of what is it? When change become no. I never get it when I need it. When I need to call out this saying, it's never there for me. It's never there. Help me. When
So,
the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change.
oh
And
yeah,
that's right. So then you're like, all right, do I like this? But people start to like it. And then, you're like, wait, nope, you don't have to be there. You don't have to stay there. You are designed for greatness. You are designed to experience joy.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the last things, because if more than an hour, I will stay very long. I mean, I will stay until tonight.
I,
But I
I,
wanted, so the last thing we can say to this audience today, which is international audience, mainly international educated nurses, overseas nurses, but there are also nurses who work in their country, their origin country. So, what is last message or a message or an advice you want to share with them, and then also at the end you share where people can find you,
okay.
please.
I think I don't ever have advice. Sorry.
No, me too. I don't ever have advice.
I,
But no, I mean last message based
yeah,
on what we discussed today.
I think this is gonna sound fluffy, but it is applicable. I don't think my encouragement for y'all to be reminded of is that you are loved and you are worthy of experiencing joy and you are exactly where you're intended to be for right now. And I would
Absolutely.
encourage you, the other part of that is I would encourage you to seek community. And that might be That could be anything. To ask for help. That might be to message Dina. That might be to, I don't know what that looks like for you, but and maybe it's God. And BPS, I'm not religious. I'm not religious. I'm the furthest thing from religious. But I do believe in God and I have a relationship with God. But maybe that's it, to ask for help from God. Whatever it is, if you're feeling this way, ask for help. Ask for help some way, because there are so many things being put in your path right now to help you come back to remembering who you are and your greatness. So that's really the only and most important thing I think I have the honor to pay forward. That's it.
And I thank you so much, and I agree with you with also this last message. We are so in line, and I'm so grateful for that, because it feel that, see, we're not alone. We're sharing feeling, we're sharing ideas, and we are sharing vision. So I think this is very important, especially in a moment when nursing is on a cliff, I believe. So we have two option, or just, you know get thrown inside the cliff and die there, or we have this opportunity to
Yeah,
fly as a
yeah,
profession.
yeah.
So Anja, thank you so much. I mean, this is so amazing.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you very much, everyone, watching in this live today, Nursing Cultural Salon. Please subscribe to Nurses Move channel and continue to share your comment, your thought, and idea. We'll reply to you in the comment. And I hope to see you next. Angie, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dina.
Thank you. Bye bye.